How do I stand out as a business coach and strategist? In other words, how do I become the hunted? That's our conversation today on the podcast. Let's jump in. BJ O'Neill here with the Business Coaching Success Podcast. So glad you're here, where I share with you strategies, tools, and tips to be able to grow your business coaching practice to six figures and beyond as a Christian business coach. Let's jump in. Welcome. Glad that you are here. There are two types of professionals. You have the hunter and you have the hunted. So my question to you is, which one do you want to be? That's our conversation today as we get going. We have a number of coaches on our team. So if you are coaching with us in our Business Coach Mastery Network, this is definitely one that you want to pay attention to. If you're considering becoming a business coach, or maybe you're an executive, you're a professional, you own a business, or you've owned a business, you've done sales, you've sat in a C-suite at some point, you're looking for the next chapter kind of thing, and you're considering business coaching. There's certainly the idea of becoming a Christian business coach is even more appealing. And you're just curious about how we do it with our done-for-you turnkey system. A to Z, it's all there. If you're interested, you can go to businesscoachmastery.com. That's businesscoachmastery.com. There might even be a link in an email if you receive this via email. To go there, we've got some information for you just to let you see, and give you a good, solid idea. You can even schedule a quick chat to explore the system with us so that you can make a decision if it's a fit for you or not. So, two types of professionals. And the question is, do you want to hunt all the time, or do you want to put yourself in a position where you become the hunted? In other words, you either chase all the opportunities, or the hunter attracts all the opportunities. So I'll be very clear. When we say becoming the hunted, it doesn't mean that you're not going to ever follow up with people. That does not mean you're not going to call people. It doesn't mean that you're going to have to, schedule things with people. It doesn't mean that people are just going to lay at your feet with begging you to do business with you. What becoming the hunted essentially means is that people want to hear from you. They want to be connected with you. They're looking to you to help them solve their problem. They do want to engage with you. On a professional level, a paid professional level, versus you having to chase all the opportunities to try to overly explain why they should work with you, convince why they should work with you, right? So that's the mode and mindset you need to put yourself in, is that if you want, and I would hope that you would want to be, if you want to become a hunter, you have to be strategic about it. And so let me lay it out this way. Most people, not just in business coaching, but most people do things in a bland, average, beige way. Beige meaning, the color beige. It's just like, is there a color here? Versus, look at a hot fire engine red or orange or purple. Like, there's vibrancies to it, right? It stands out. Whether you like those colors or not is irrelevant, because I'm trying to make a point. So when you look at things through a strategic lens, we have to think at a different level to become the hunter, because oftentimes we default to being beige. Do you want to be beige? Well, here's the problems when you're beige. You're blending in with a lot of beige. In other words, most people aren't effective. I'm not being judgmental or being mean. I'm just being honest. Because it's work to be strategic. We have to think at a different level. But the output and the outcome from strategy and strategic level thinking is dramatic. And I get coaches on our team who hit me up all the time. And they're, it's going okay, whatever. And we start walking down what they've been doing, and it's a beige plan. And again, if you're on our coaching team, I want to really implore with you, are you making a vibrant, worth being hunted plan, or are you chasing everything because you're so beige and basic that is just not attractive enough? The world is busy. And oftentimes, even if people wanted to engage with you, you're not standing out in a manner to where it's attractive enough to go, hang on, for the prospect that is, to say, I want to hear more. So I'm going to give you several things to consider and a plan that you need to build to become the hunted. Here's the first: uniqueness. You must be unique. Inside our business coaching plan, the content, and we provide you with all the content where we coach business owners step by step, one strategy at a time, get my words out, and one step at a time. All the content's already created, all the content's already there. One of the big ones that we talk about is creating what we call a market dominating position. Meaning, what do you do and how do you say it in a manner that nobody else can do the same thing? Years ago, I'm going to say maybe 25 years ago or so, Seth Godin, brilliant marketing mind, brilliant marketing genius, wrote a book called Purple Cow. It's an old book, and certainly technology isn't what it is today, and so, but it still has significant relevance. I'm going to give you a hack that's going to help you right now that you can do today. It's a super short read. They may even have it back here somewhere. Maybe I don't. I have it somewhere, but go read it. One. And it's essentially the idea. If you're, driving in the middle of Kansas, beige, no offense to you in Kansas, and I said the middle of it. Actually, it's not entirely accurate. In the summertime, I think it would be spring, summer. I think it's beautiful to drive through Kansas, all the huge sunflowers. They're awesome. But my point, pasture, field, weeds, cows, black cow, brown cow. Well, if you're driving 2-3 hours, it's a monotonous view. It's beautiful, but it just doesn't change. So if you're seeing hundreds of cows, well, what if all of a sudden you saw a purple cow? Now, you may not know anything about cows. You think you'd turn your head? You maybe have never, nothing about livestock. You don't even care. But you're going to notice. All that simply means is, what am I doing with my business coaching practice to be a purple cow? How does someone take a double look? Again, you're driving on the interstate, you see all these black cows, all of a sudden you see a purple one. You're going to do a double take. That's the word I was looking for. You're going to do a double take. What do you need to do? Well, you got to be unique, which we'll talk about in a moment. Here's the hack. I want you to read Purple Cow, but what you could also do now, go to ChatGPT, and you're essentially going to say, I read Purple Cow because it's an old enough book. There's enough information online. Chat's going to go find it. And you're going to say, I want to place the Purple Cow concept and idea to me as a business coach on being unique. And it's going to ask you questions. You can tell it to ask you questions and build a plan. Like, it's really cool. Like, this is leverage, right? We're leveraging technology today, but to be able to do things like this right here. So one, we just have to build uniqueness. Here's an example of uniqueness. You may say, well, BJ, one of my unique things is I'm able to help businesses grow their profitability. True, and that's what we do. Inside of we focus on profitability, leadership, and culture as Christian business coaches working with business owners. But even with that, that's still platitudinal. Helping with just profitability by itself, it's not enough to be recognized, especially in a sea where lots of businesses, I know it's going to sound crazy, don't fully understand the word profitability. They understand making more money, but they don't always understand profitability. We need to put some skin on that, if you will. So here's an example. And I use this quite often on the podcast. It's just a good one. It's an easy one. If you were to think about paint, residential painting, right? Think about how many people in your community offer painting. Lots, right? Lots of painters, contractors, side hustle folks, your neighbor, right? There's lots of ways that you can go get your house and or a room painted today. You'll get somebody in there today, right? And you may say, well, how could you be unique with paint? And there is a company, it's a franchise. It's called Wow Painting. Here's their uniqueness. This would be their market dominating position. It's a good one. They guarantee 1 day painting, no matter the size. I want you to think about that. Nobody else is saying it. You think about how many times, if you've ever had somebody in your house, they went longer, became an issue, whatever, it happens all the time. But that's their guarantee. Guess what? Because of that guarantee, they're typically on the higher end of costs. So they don't have to worry about, low bottom feeding people who don't want to spend money for a service like that. So we got to eradicate the idea that, well, how do I become unique? We always can become unique. So that's number one. Number two, you have to strategically plan well with your message and your communication. In other words, the words that come out of your mouth, how you write an email, how you send a text message, how you send a letter, how you go to an event and you're communicating with someone. Words matter. But again, if we're saying what everybody else is saying, then we're not strategic about our words. If we're not thinking about a communication plan and a communication style, we're not thinking about our message. We're not thinking about our approach. We want people, when they're interacting with us, to go, man, there's something different there. In working with businesses, we help them to grow profitability and revenues by small incremental percentage increases through multiple business strategies. Well, in the same way, as a business coach, we're not trying to knock a home run in every area. We're wanting to make small improvements in multiple ways. Well, strategically, when we're thinking about our message and how we communicate, if you don't think about that at all, then you're not strategic in those areas. So you can't make minor improvements in those areas and stack them together through compounding to get better overall, to be the hunted. That's what we're chasing right now. Okay? So uniqueness, got to work on our message and our communication. Body language. When you do, and I'm going to summarize this in just a moment to say this is exactly what I do today to become the hunted, how I would get out in the community, so on. Body language. If I go to a networking event, or if I go to a business function, a business breakfast, a leadership thing, whatever, the point is I'm in person with people making contact. 93% of our communication is body language. Like one of the things that we all do naturally, it's just a natural thing. I'm talking to you. I'm shaking your hand. Maybe I've never met you before. I'm just getting to know you. But it's really easy to begin to have I'm looking around the room while you're talking. Terrible thing to do, by the way. But we all do it because of a number of different things. We may get distracted. We're looking for somebody that we were trying to meet there, like 1,000 different ways. But that alone can just torpedo being unique, because it can emit that we don't care. So we have to work on our body language, standing straight, our shoulders back, commanding a handshake, eye contact. Like these things absolutely matter, because you want people to walk away and go, wow. They may not even say the words. It's the emotion that you make them feel. Number 4, content. This is a big one. Like, again, we're talking about becoming the hunted. Blogs, podcasts. I'm not saying you have to do these things. I'm just giving you context of what it looks like to stand out, be different, become the hunted. Blogs, podcasts, books. By the way, if you're listening, one of the things that we do inside of our platform is we ghostwrite a book for you. So you actually have content. You can have that book printed. You can carry that with you. It's a piece that we encourage our coaches to utilize. And you can do it either online through an ebook version through the system that we give you, or you can utilize a physical book and put that physical book in someone's hands. A friend of mine, Birmingham, Alabama, and she owns a hair salon, a high-end hair salon. Been doing it for years. Known her and her family for more than 30 years. But years ago, she got very active in the business community. Became an ambassador with a chamber, excuse me, and multiple other things. Now, her and a couple other business folks, they do a little local podcast there in the area. They're part of ribbon cuttings. They're a part of, helping. They're effective in the business community, and that has nothing to do with her actual business. But because of that, she's grown her business immensely, because she's become so well known in her community, right? One of the ways she's done that, though, is social media and doing a very simple, small podcast. Optics matter. BJ, I've never done a podcast before. Absolute excuse. Cannot say that anymore. It's super easy to do today. This is not what it was 15 years ago. Anybody can do it. I'm not saying that needs to be your thing. I'm just saying there are elements under the word content. Blogs, for instance, you can. It's not even about the content, but over time, you got 100 plus blogs on your site, and someone locally is looking for carpet cleaning, for instance, and they find, randomly in quotations because of SEO and just the way the internet works. If you got enough of those things out there, they find you. Like these are parts of, again, small percentages, big gains. These are part of the ways they become the hunted. Let's pull it all together. If I was being unique, my message, my body language, content, all this stuff, how do I pull it all together? One, let's just say I'm just starting out. I don't, I know some people, but whatever. One, I'm definitely going to engage my sphere of influence, explain to them what I'm doing, let them see my tools, all that good stuff. But I am going to start getting very active inside the community. And every market's a little different, but we all have different types of meetings, whether it's BNIs, networking, chambers, business functions, lunches, breakfasts, whatever. In the beginning, I am going to be a madman and attend a ton of stuff just to be visible, just to be seen. Through that, I'm going to start building an email list. This is like guerrilla marketing 101. I'm going to start building an email list, and I'm going to start doing things that they're seeing me shaking the trees through content, conversations, so on, so that they recognize it. So in other words, I want to be an ambassador, to be well known. I'm going to have a unique positioning. And by the way, inside of our network, those of you that coach with us know this. We already do part of the uniqueness for you through our software that we do that's proprietary, where we can sit down and find any business more than 100 grand in 45 minutes without you spending, the business that is, more money in marketing or advertising. And our commitment, when we're done, we're going to give that business a 17-page roadmap, fully automated through AI, to put it all together where they can focus on strategic elements to have significant lift to find 100, 200, 300 grand or more, right? So we already give you, but I still want coaches to find ways to bend that around them to become unique for them, all right? So I'm going to become unique. I'm going to work on my message. I'm going to be seen. I'm going to become an ambassador. I'm going to speak at some local events. People need speakers. Even engage with your news organization. They look for content all the time. Well, no one really watches the news in the middle of the day. Look, it's about taking that video. Now I can place it on my website. Now I can place it on social media. You do that a number of times. These are the things that builds your attractive character to become the hunted. All right? Online presence. And this is a hack. I'm going to give you a hack. Every single market has Facebook groups, right, in your city, and sometimes even niche down into, the things that, like, I'm a part of several right here around our area. One's got like 90-something thousand people. One has over 100-something thousand people, and so on. Well, the mistake that businesses will make is they talk about the business inside those groups. Now, you can do that, but you want to do that at a minor level. I'm going to do different things that are more values driven that may or may not even have anything to do with the business. And I'm going to give you one example just for context. Now, holidays are coming around, at least as of this time of the recording of this podcast. And so you can say things, hey, this is BJ O'Neill with Wow Painting. Love our community. Something that we used to do as kids. My grandmother used to make cookies, and just wanted to share the recipe with you. If it brings you joy like it's brought my family, I think you'll love it. Now, you might think that's silly. And by the way, if you go do that just one time, then no, that's not going to be enough. But when you're doing things that just value, it's giving optically, you're getting branded. You're getting seen. This is part, because if the same people, they see that 3 or 4 or 5 times throughout the year, they're going to build persona around you. Especially, guess what? Lots of business people are inside those community groups. So if you're also going to some of these places and you're building response to them, this is where it all begins to come together. In other words, if they've seen you here, they've seen you there, this is trust matters, and it builds your trust and it builds your prominence. That's the issue when you're beige. When you have low trust, you have low prominence. That's why people are not wanting to engage with you and hunt you, if you will. So over time, as they're beginning to recognize you, see you, maybe shake your hand here or there, and then there's the opportunity where they really begin to know what you do, and how you can help them solve some business problems, that's when they typically raise their hand and go, hey, I have an issue that I need to talk to you about. That's the hunted. All right. Lastly, I'm also going to develop multiple, probably 8 to 12 joint venture relationships. A number of ways to do that. We have other podcast episodes. You can go find them and listen to those. But I'm going to have a number of folks. So it could be a CPA, it could be a financial planner, it could be a carpet cleaning company that I have a relationship with that works with commercial accounts, whatever. But I'm going to have a number of them to where I'm going to have a relationship to where I'm going to give them a fee for every single client that ends up coming to me through them. But I'm going to have a number of them, right? That's why they like money matters. You want to reward people for the behavior that they're doing to bring people to you. That's the hunted. Okay. So I could do 5 episodes and give you this structure differently. Prayerfully, you begin to get the overall message. You got to be unique. You got to work on your message and your communication. Body language matters more than you realize. And not even just body language, your tone, your voice, how you all that stuff matters. You got to have some type of element of how you're engaging with people with content, okay? You may hate the idea of a podcast or a blog. Fine. Figure out some way to to build your prominence through value. It matters. It absolutely matters, okay? If you work on that, and it's not a destination, rather, excuse me. It is a constant improvement. You'll learn, you get better, you see what somebody else does, you pull that in. Someone says, "Hey, I really love what you're doing here." Boom, boom, boom. That gives you your influence. It helps to gives your feedback. All these things, you just make small adjustments. You make small adjustments. You make small adjustments. 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years. You get better. You get better. You get better. And before you know it, you have engaging people with you who are interested in listening and want your help because of all of this work that you're putting in, all right? Doing it with just one of them, it's one-dimensional, it was not enough. It's a mixture of all those things that helps get you to a place of building your prominence to becoming well-known in a community to where you become the hunted. So there you go. Hope that adds value to you today. Don't let this be something that you just listen to. Put it to action. Action's where it matters when it's all said and done, all right? Until next time, take care.